Hello, this is SC, the rich woman. I just made a video, and this is the second video, but I forgot to talk to you guys about the guy that I video recorded the other night. So I don't know how long this guy been watching me in this shopping center, but he's been doing it for a little while now. So one day I I went and got me something to eat, and I came back to this shopping center, and I parked in a whole totally different spot. It was daylight. So what made me notice him is because when he came driving up, he looked at me. So I looked at him. He came and he parked about like 2 rows in front of me. And I'm like, this guy, I think this guy has been watching me, because I noticed him. So he parked about 2 rows right in front of me and looking right at me. So I'm like looking at him, and then he sits there for like maybe a minute or two, and then he drives away. I'm like, what is that all about? Like, so um that day, that same day, so now here's nighttime. Same guy, same car. He parks near. I said, this is this guy again. He parks near me. Now I'm parked in a different spot. So he's in a different spot because he's near me. So I move, and then he moves. Always where he can like face me to see what I'm doing. I moved like 3 times that night. He moved 3 times too. So I came up on him. I'm like, why are you following me around this parking lot? And he said that he wasn't following me, that he just don't feel like going home. And I said, you are following me. And I said, earlier today, I was in a totally different spot, and you came and you parked 2 rows in front of me. And now I'm over here, and you're over here too. And I'd have moved a couple of times, and now you'd have moved too. He said, oh, no, it ain't that. I'm not following you. What's your name? I said, that's none of your business. And then he was like, no, I just don't feel like going home. Like, who gonna not go home and stay riding around following a person in a shopping center? So then I drove off, and I moved again. He moved again. I drove back. I think I came back to him, and I think I said something I know I drove up to him twice, and I said something to him twice. I can't remember everything. I don't know if that was the second time I came up to him, but both times I came up to him and I said something to him that particular night. So I'm like, this whole shopping center, and why are you near me? Why are you near where I'm parked at? Yeah, this whole shopping center. That's what he said. So I didn't call the police, because one time I called the police because there was another car that was watching me, following me. And so you know how the police come, they gaslight you. I've been parked in this shopping center on and off for years. So I know there's no security patrol in the shopping center. There's no security driving around in the shopping center. I know, because I try to park at shopping centers that don't have security. And that's one thing I noticed about this shopping center. There's no security driving around. And if it is security driving around, they only focus on the buildings. Like, I think I used to see a car, but that was years ago. But it only drove around the buildings. It never drove around the parking lot and patrolling the parking lot. So anyway, now I don't see no cars or anything driving around the buildings. So this shopping center does not have security. So when the police came the last time I had called them, the officer gonna say, they have security driving around here. I'm like, they do? He gonna say, yeah. So that probably was security. That's what he said. And I'm thinking to myself, no, it ain't. That car was raggedy. It was did it all on one side. Who's doing security in that? What security company is doing security in that kind of car? So like the police, they gaslight you, you know. But I know that there's no security in this shopping center. So that's why I didn't even call the police, because I don't feel like dealing with, the lies, the gaslighting. I just don't feel like dealing with it. So I said I'm just gonna put up their information on YouTube. As you can see, I put the make and model of the car, I put the color of the car, and I put the license plate number up there, because I feel like this: if you're gonna watch me and you're going to deprive me of my privacy, I'm going to deprive you of your privacy. That's how I feel. If you're going to sit up there and watch me, honestly, and I haven't seen him since I rolled up on him and recorded him that night. I haven't seen him since. But yeah, so I believe it's Marietta PD that's paying people to watch people, and also I believe they have police that are in unmarked cars watching people. I believe they have both. But yeah, you try to take my privacy, and so if you do that, then I'm putting up your information on YouTube. That's how I feel. Like this don't make 9 years. Over 9 years of surveillance. I had watched a video where this woman was saying that she was being investigated. She was being investigated for 10 years by was it the police? Some law enforcement. She was being investigated for 10 years. I said, I believe it. A lot of people wouldn't even believe that the police will investigate someone for 10 years. A lot of people wouldn't even believe that. Like when I was coming out, when I first made this YouTube channel, and I was saying that I was under surveillance, and that I had been under surveillance all these years. I had so many people telling me that I was delusional, that I was lying, that I had a mental problem, and I mean all kinds of stuff people was telling me. The police is not going to waste time and resources on watching a homeless woman. That's what I was told. Yeah, right. Now see, in Marietta, it's not a whole lot of crime here. So this is what I'm thinking. Okay, the reason why they started investigating me is because I called 911 on a new officer that had been at my car 2 days before. Okay, he was a new officer, and I know he was a new officer because when a new officer comes out, they have other officers to go with him, right? So when they come out of training, whatever, so they'll have a new officer in a car with an older officer that's already working for the Marietta PD, right? And then they'll have another car following that's already working for Marietta PD. So I'm guessing they training the new officer. They going out and they training the new officer, but they training him with the homeless people. So it's been happening to me for years in this city. So they will bring them out, right? You got 2 police officers following, sometimes 3 cars, 2 or 3 cars. So that one person is the new officer. So they'll have him to come up to me, ask me for my driver's license, and say this or say that, whatever procedure it is, because my tax was expired, but I'm parked on private property. Anyway, so they're having him to do everything, but they're watching. They're standing nearby and they're watching him. So then they leave me. They go to another homeless person sleeping in their car. They have him to knock on the window. So this is what they did in this shopping center. And then when I was parked at Walmart, or at the time, there was a lot of, because they would tell all the homeless people that was living in their car to go to Walmart. So it was a lot of us living in our car in the Walmart parking lot. So I would see them go from car to car to car. And then I would say to myself, so like, why do they tell us all to come to Walmart? And then every now and then they come here and they bother all of us. you know. And so I stopped parking at Walmart. I came back to the shopping center. But other cars would park here too. And so they would do it here too. So this is how I got to understand that when they have a new officer, this is the procedure they do before they let him out by himself. Okay, so he was at my car with the other officers. Then he came back. And see, I said something that made him mad. I can't remember what I said. But it made him mad because he was repeating it when he got back in the car with the other officers. But the other officers sometimes would just ignore me because they know that I would mouth off and I would say things. So they would just ignore me. But this new officer didn't. So I heard him repeating what I said when he got in the car with the older officer, with the officer that had been here for a while. And so he was mad about it, but the other officer didn't say nothing. I guess I heard he didn't say anything. So then I guess he remembered. He was mad because I said something. I guess I didn't give him the respect that he deserved, that he should get, being a police officer with a uniform and badge on. So he comes back 2 nights later by himself. They have let him go by himself. Now he come back 2 nights later, and I'm like, he's knocking on my window, and I let it down, and he got the bright light right here, and the light was so bright I couldn't even see who he was. And I was like, who are you? And he was like, don't worry about who I am. And he was saying something to me, I can't remember. And so I focused really, really good, and I saw that it was the new officer. So then I basically, just like, I just ignored him, and I called the police department, and I said, no, actually I told him to go away and leave me alone. That's what I told him. Once I found out who it was, I told him to go away and leave me alone. And so he wouldn't go away. So I kept repeating it, go away and leave me alone. So I picked up my phone and I called the police department. And I went to speak to, did I call the police department? I think I called 911. Yeah. I called 911. And I said, I have an officer here harassing me, and I want him to go away and leave me alone. And so 911, all they do is just transfer you to the police department of that city, of the same people that's harassing you. So that's what they did. They transferred me to Merida Police Department. So I might have called 911 two times that night. I don't remember. Anyway, so Merida, the dispatch, get on the phone, and I'm telling them that I want a watch commander or a sergeant to come out. And so then it got quiet, and the officer said, who are you talking to? Like he didn't know. Anyway, I said, I didn't say anything. And then the dispatcher going to yell at me and tell me to answer the officer. And I yelled back at her and told her I ain't got to say nothing to him. I know my rights. I don't have to say one word to him. And so she was like, I'm about to get off the phone. I said, no. Send me a watch commander. And so an officer came. But they were pissed. They were pissed at me. So an officer came. And this officer, I don't know if he was Puerto Rican or something like that. But he was a nice officer. He was always nice to me. And he talked nice to me. I don't even think he worked for Merida PD anymore. Like some of the older officers I used to see here, I don't see him no more. But he talked nice to me. And while we were talking, then the other officer that was harassing me just slightly moseyed on back to his car and drove off. Anyway, so yeah, they were pissed. That's what started all the surveillance of me, watching me 24 hours, watching me on holidays, everything. I even had a black woman one night come and video record me, and while I was sitting in the shopping center, and she was driving all rough and crazy like She was driving like one with authority. That's how she was driving. So I knew, I'm like, okay, she works for police department. But I didn't feel like she worked for a police department. I felt like she worked for another police department. Because during that time, I would go to Hemet. I had a friend that lived in Hemet. So I would go to Hemet sometime. And I really felt that this woman was from the Hemet police department. Because when you go to different, if you're being under surveillance, and you go to different cities, right? And they try to say that you're a criminal, that maybe you're selling dope or something like that. So they contact, I believe they contact those cities that you visit, you know. And so this is what I believe this woman was from. I believe she was from either had to be Hemet police, because the only other place that I would go was Compton. And I don't believe she came away from Compton. So I think she came from Hemet. But she video recorded me. She came from somewhere, but she was with law enforcement. This is what I really feel in my heart. She was from law enforcement, and she came right in front of me, sideways. I was parked like this. She came sideways. Her car was sideways, and she just put the camera up there, and she video recorded me. And I didn't try to hide or anything, and I just looked at her. I just looked at her. I didn't try to hide or anything. I didn't get out the car and I asked her what she was doing or whatever. I knew that Merida PD was behind it. This woman video recording me. And I'm like, you can video record all you want because I'm not a criminal. You ain't gonna never catch me doing anything. So enjoy your video recording. And I just sat there and I looked at her. Anyway, these guys have followed me into the library. They have followed me into eating place, fast food places when I go in and eat. They go in and eat too, looking right at me like I don't know who, they are. I used to go to Pollo Loco a lot, and they used to come in at Pollo Loco, looking and watching. I'm like, I don't know what they think they're gonna see, but one time I was in a Pollo Loco and this guy came in shortly after I did, and he sat where he could see me, and he didn't know that I knew who he was, right? So I took my time eating. He was eating too. I guess he decided, well, I might as well go eat too. So he came in and sat down near and was watching me so he can have straight view of me. And after I finished eating, I got up. He was looking at me, and I went and put my stuff in the trash, and he was watching me, and he was like, I'm not lying. He was looking at me, and he was like, hurry up, eat his food so he can come out and continue following me and watching me. But this is the things I seen that I'm like, they really think I'm stupid, huh? And so another time, I was in a Pollo Loco, and a lot of times too, like when I would go places and I would take longer than I would normally take, they would come in. I seen them do that a couple of times, right? So if I take longer than I would normally take inside of El Pollo Loco, this is what happened. So I ate my food. Nobody came in to follow me, to watch me. I ate my food, and I went to the restroom. This particular day, it was that time of the month. So this was years ago. It was that time of the month, so I had to go to the restroom. You know how that is, ladies, that have that time of the month and you heavy flow. So, and you might have to use the restroom, do other things too. So, it takes time, And so, I was at Pollo Loco for a little while. I came out of the restroom, and when I came out, it was this guy sitting there, white guy. He didn't have no food in front of him. He was turned sideways. He was turned sideways facing the restrooms. When I walked out, I looked right in his face. I looked him up and down. And when I knew he was undercover police, right? He had on a white t-shirt. He had on those black slacks that the police wear and those black shoes that the police wear. And I knew he was undercover police. And so I like paused and I looked him up and down and I walked out. I'm like, they must really think I'm stupid. So yeah, this is the things that I saw. But you would tell people this, and they be like, "No, that didn't happen. The police ain't gonna spend their time watching no homeless woman resource." Yeah, they will spend time and resources watching you. They will, especially when they want to lock you up. When they don't like you, you have. I honestly think that the police have a hit list. If you piss them off, if you make them mad. I mean, all you gotta do is watch these stories. All you gotta do is watch these crime stories. You gotta stories about police targeting people, and they haven't even committed a crime, but they piss the police off, and they target people. They set people up. Police do all kinds of criminal activity, right? All kinds of criminal activity. They should be in jail for all the criminal activity that the police departments do. And then you have people in this day and age, when you tell them what the police has done, they be like, "No, the police wouldn't do that. They ain't going." Like, are you serious? Like, wake up. Open your eyes. Oh my goodness. Some people just like, oh my goodness. It's a lot of dumb people that live in houses, okay? A lot of dumb people that live in houses. I tell you. So one day I went to the grocery store because I had my food stamps. I would go to the grocery store. I have had them in line behind me at the grocery store trying to see how am I paying for my food. One time I went to the grocery store, and I would usually, I would just go in, get a TV dinner, walk around, pay for my food, walk out. This particular day, I had to use the restroom. So I went into the restroom first in the grocery store, used the restroom. Then I went and got my TV dinner. So when I was walking up to the register, there's a tall man standing there. He looks at me. I look at him. He looks away. I look away. He looks at me again. I look at him again. Then he look away. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is one of them. I took too long in the grocery store. I took longer than I normally take. So they had to come in and see what I was doing. They'd have followed me into Dollar Trees, into Michael's. Yeah. Yeah, this is how the police are. But people don't realize it. And I'm very observant. I have always been very observant ever since I would have to say the reason why I'm like that is because I was a school bus driver, and I got that training when I was a school bus driver to always be observant, to look around, look here, look in the back. Like when I would drive the school bus, he would tell me, look at your mirrors, scale your mirrors, look up. So I would have to get the big picture, look ahead. So I would always, as a bus driver, I was always looking around, looking at my mirrors, looking ahead. I was always looking. So I had to be observant, and I was trained to be like that. So then when the police had put me under surveillance, I had noticed them like right off the bat. I had noticed them watching me. One time I was in Michael's, and I would I go to Michael's and buy craft and stuff like that. And I was looking at something, and I looked over to the side, and someone was watching me on one of the aisles. And so when I went, they jumped back real fast. And so I just stood there waiting for them to peek back around, but they never did. I could have walked up and saw who it was, but I never did. I knew they were watching me. They have came into the library and watched me. And believe me, when the police watch you, they will watch you very closely. They watch you close and they watch you far. But a lot of people don't suspect the police to watch you close up, but they will. They will come. And I'll be at a long table in the library, and they'll sit at the table right there at the long table with me. That's how the police watch, from far and up close. They watch up close because they know that you don't expect them to be close to you. They could be standing right behind you at the grocery store in the check line, and they right behind you, seeing what you're buying, seeing how you're paying, and all that stuff. So it's some people that just refuse to stay ignorant and don't believe that the police would do things like this. Yeah, I mean, so many videos of police killing people, not because they committed a crime, but because they pissed them off. So many people have been set up and put in prison because they pissed off the police. Not that they committed a crime. Like, I'd be like, these people are ignorant. That was in my comment section saying all these stupid stuff. Oh my goodness. And it's a lot of things I could say, even with the medical field and how the medical field have tested on black people and done things to black people, and then black people still roll up their arm and go let them put things in them. I'd be like, I don't understand. I don't. Anyway, so yeah, like that's why history exists. That's why history is there for you to look back and see what these people done, and then you act accordingly. Like I can look back in history and see what the police have done. I can look back in history and see what the medical field has done to black people, and I'll be like, oh no, thank you. I don't want your shots. No, thank you. Mm-mm. You know, I can look back in history. That's why people need to learn from history how these people are. Anyway, so yeah. So when that girl said she been on surveillance for 10 years, I'll be like, I believe you. I definitely believe you. All right. So I will talk to you guys in another video. Bye.